So it's time for a new project here on the channel. Now, most of you have been here through the story of what is now known as the Spicy Micra. If you don't, go back for the catalogue of videos, it's worth a watch. But this is my 1995 Nissan Micra K11 with a 1.8 litre out of a Primera turbo supercharged, 315 horsepower, lots of carbon panels. It's a crazy build. Go back through the channel and watch the catalogue of videos on that car. Now, this particular car here I have had for 15 years. It's been in storage for 8, and this car holds a real big part of my heart, just because this is the car I've owned the longest out of anything I have owned, and it holds a special place in my heart as a result. But what is it, I hear you say? Well, are you ready? This is a 1988 Honda Civic Shuttle RT 4-wheel drive 16i. Yes, the Japanese love to chuck all them abbreviations into the car names, but this car really does hold a special place in my heart, and I'll tell you why. Now, I come from a background of EF Civics, and EF Civic was my first car, and I've been tinkering with these since the ripe old age of 18. That's some years ago. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but this particular car here holds a special place in my heart because up until that point, all the Civics I owned were carburetted, and this was my first fuel-injected Civic. Now, I have so many good memories in this car, going to car shows, meeting friends. The interior in this also folded flat, so if you were to go camping, this car was ideal to sleep in, as well as some other quirks here and there. Now, what's the deal with the Shuttle? Well, if you're familiar with your EF Civics and your Honda CRXs, this is basically a 5-door people carrier version based off the same chassis. It also shares a lot of the same characteristics. The front is pretty much identical to a Civic and a CRX. The interior as well, the dashboard is a carbon copy of the one from the hatchback, as well as some other nooks and crannies which aren't the same as the Civic and the CRX, but the design is very much similar to that of the Civic and CRX, is that you can distinguish that this car here is of the same chassis family. So what makes this particular example special is that, especially here in the UK, this is a rare factory 4-wheel drive manual gearbox version of this car. Now, 90% of these, 95% of these even in the UK and Europe, all came with the 1.4 D14 twin carb, and this came with a D16 A6 fuel injected manual gearbox 4-wheel drive system, which was just incredible and way ahead of its time for the age. 1988, this car had electric mirrors, electric windows, air conditioning. It had all the mod cons which cars of the same age from other manufacturers just didn't have, and this whole family of cars was way ahead of its time. So the RT in RT 4-wheel drive stands for real time. Now, Basically, there is a viscous coupler in the centre of the prop, and when the front gearbox spins that viscous coupler fast enough, it locks up, which then sends power to the back. So this car is essentially a front wheel drive until the front wheels start to slip, from which it sends power to the rear, and then it becomes all-wheel drive. It's a pretty clever system. So from the factory, this came with a D16A6 single cam and non-VTEC engine, which made about 105, 110 horsepower. But during my ownership, I swapped it out for a D16Z6 single cam VTEC engine with a Jackson Racing supercharger, full exhaust system, an old school Neptune RTP ECU, which made about 160 horsepower until unfortunately I melted a piston, and at which point I parked it in storage for 3 years at one place, and then when I moved into my current house, it then sat in the garage for 7 years. So out of my 15-year ownership, I drove it for 5 years, tinkered with it for 5 years, and it's been sat in storage for 10 years, waiting for this video, this moment now. It's happening. I've waited too long. Let's talk about our plans for this car. So for the eagle-eyed viewers, you'll notice there is no engine inside engine bay. But for the even more eagle-eyed viewers, have probably noticed this engine mount. And yes, I have preached the single cam D16 VTECs all these years. My favourite engine, they're a good engine. Better than B series, there, I said it. But unfortunately, due to some, as you'll come to find out, sponsor commitments, we are case swapping the shuttle. And to answer your next question, yes, we're also keeping the four-wheel drive system. So I'm going to leave that video here. I need to keep your attention spans fresh, and all I'm doing is talking and bits of B-roll of the car. So I'm going to let you get on with your evening and watch Danny DC2's or Ilya's video or whatever you're into. I'm always looking at comments. Are you excited for the build? Drop a comment down below. Have you got any ideas for the build? Drop a comment down below. Can you sponsor me a Quaife gearbox? Drop a comment down below. Just email me. I will do whatever I need to do to get that gearbox. So drop a comment down below, send an email. Serious, by the way. If you are a company, big brand company, small brand company, who think you can offer me something which would be beneficial to this car, if you want to be part of it, a service, a product, drop a comment down below. I'm happy to work with anyone, and obviously we're going to be producing videos on this car as we build it up in individual stages, and then obviously when we start competing in the car, obviously we've got all the videos, and then when we start competing in the car, we've got all them videos as well. Speaking of competing, big plan for this car is World Time Attack Sydney. Maybe 2025, maybe 2026, but we are extremely keen on making this into a World Time Attack spec car. Probably should have said that at the start. Either way, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. See you next video.